Mission, his job isn't necessarily to dish as much damage this time around, at least, because they have a lot more damage dealers. The question is, can they all survive out in the laning phase? Will CFO be able to hold on and get into that stage of the game where their bot lane can take over, get themselves the series win in 4, or will it be Frank Esports bringing this back and bringing us to a Game 5? We're about to find out.
I've got some good news for Nightstar out there. I think we're going to Game 5. I feel like this strategy coming in is much more focused from Frank. It just try to snowball early. You can catch people across the map. In terms of team fights, I also think it's a bit of a wash. I wouldn't say necessarily that CFO has a decided lead when it comes to the 5v5s there either. So we will see how this plays out. I do expect Frank to start on the bottom side and just start moving Holo into the top. There's a lot of chances if Mordekaiser over pushes or if Mission gets hit by a chain to follow up with a kill right off the bat.
Yeah, there's a lot of risk here. And remember what these two teams are fighting for right now, right? The winner of this series goes and faces PSG Talon, our reigning champions, in the next round. Frank have already managed to find some wins against them, and we'll see if they would be enough if they can bring it back to Game 5 and then win the whole thing. That'd be big. But for CFO, that's personal. It's a team they just barely lost out on a trip to MSI against.
Ooh, yeah, and we have to remember in that series where it went 9 games, CFO actually won more games compared to PSG there. So, you know, I feel like
out.
That's the magic of double elim, I have to say.
Yeah.
If you get into the finals, it doesn't really matter how you got there. So we are going to get the start here, both sides heading towards the top side, and we can see this is typically how Mordekaisers play the top side when they're under threat. They just let the enemy Camille kind of push them in for the first couple of levels. So I do expect Frank to kind of focus more on Mission here. Mission has been someone to fall to early ganks quite frequently, so see if he missteps this time.
Chains do land. He actually sidesteps all of the Taliyah poke. And yeah, Pretender just showing up and has had a pretty aggressive stance. Mission has been one of the more exploitable members of this team in this series.
You know, we're going to be taking a look at the bot lane this time, and what I love about this combination is you got the Gravitum and you got the Death Charge. It just makes it so hard for the Zeri to actually get away. It's 2 ultimates that are point-and-click crowd control, and then you have the Gemini Diego just flying in here. So I really think CFO have a great kill combination. It can work even before 6 here, and we do see Gemini going for a cross map into the Crux here. So if there is an opportunity that presents itself, we could be seeing a kill.
He certainly could. Yeah, Mission already taken low. Almost boom as well. Meanwhile, up in the top, YSKM trying his best to bully out Rest, who yoinks him a little bit closer to the tower, but not quite within range to try and get the play. We'll have to keep an eye out there, as it's definitely been YSKM having a much better early game than we saw last time around on that Jax. He was bullied quite a lot. Here comes Gemini, spotted by Eminem. Dodges the Ultra Shock damage.
Yeah, good defensive play from the carries. He wards out onto the Krugs, knows that the wave is coming in, make sure that his AD carry is safe. In the meantime, we knew that Frank Esports was likely going to get a wave shove in, and now they also know that the jungler is not on this side of the map, so Rest is left to his own devices. He has to keep his HP up or just be dove and killed here.
Yeah, YSKM could be having the last laugh after last game, and Holo doesn't go for it. Instead, he just steals a few of the Krugs away, walks onto the ward. Now information's given. Will he actually commit to this back, or is it all a ruse?
It looks like Rest is willing to just step up here. And he's going to take
there we go.
A rather harsh trade here. And this is what we expect out of Mordekaisers. Typically, you want to play a very safe early game. Mordekaiser, if you have a bad first level 3, get ganked, it could be lights out for you. So, kind of to be expected here. We also had Diego going on the other way. And this is kind of what I expected out of the draft. It's just that Frank Esports should have decided leads in both of their solo lanes. It's just about how much they can actually stretch and snowball this. And so far, Mission has actually been doing a pretty good job holding onto his flash, keeping himself steady with the CS here as well.
Yeah, for all that pressure that was put out by Pretender, it didn't translate into anything. There wasn't no gank attempts coming out of Holo. He was focused on the bot side of the map. And at least Eminem, who was in a fairly big CS hole as well, has managed to catch back up on Shun. And I'm curious to see if Azeri can actually win this series, because nobody has been able to do it so far. Gemini caught out by YSKM, and a lot of damage as he gets that hook shot into the adaptive defenses, and oh my goodness, that tack sweep, and the precision protocol gets denied there. Empowered auto not quite there, but YSKM is just feeling himself. Meanwhile, back in the mid, you've got Carries Holo and Pretender, all
really
here. With Mission and Koala.
Wonder what happened in the scuffle here. Pretender actually had to flash away, so I'm guessing that it was something landed by Koala. Koala also flashed here. So mid flash trade for support flash trade. About equal, just seeing how LeBlanc doesn't really need the flash most of the times.
CDR boots for rest already completed, so he does get those to at least get access to his abilities a little more frequently. And well, still no first blood, but not for lack of trying. Carries comes back down to the bottom lane. Shun staying safe aside his minions, and has that level advantage, and once again rebuilding the CS lead over Eminem.
I think we're very close to the point where we could see Nautilus coming in with some ganks right here. The Gravitum is prepared, and we do have Viego on the bottom side of the map. Plus, Mission is missing on the map, so I think Frank is going to play incredibly safe. Indeed, they're even going to call Holo to aid them here. They know that the potential play is coming.
Yeah, Mission now with level 6 does have access to the Weaver's Wall, so he could turn this into an unfavorable numbers game for Frank Esports. But the Dragon is the prize they are seeking. On the CFO side, Mountain up first, and they will start it.
Oh, Rust going
back
in.
Up top. Rust and YSKM dueling it out a little bit. That Death Realm already immediately popped into the Obliterate. That's a big hit. YSKM, he's sticking around, and there's nowhere to go as he burns that ultimatum just in time to die solo to the veteran top laner.
Oh, that was so beautifully done. Rest actually uses the Death Realm mid-hook shot to cut off the remaining range of the ability. It prevents him from getting away as well, and just walks him down there. Oh, insane. Insanely well done here by Rest to find that kill. In the meantime, a little bit more of scuffle in mid.
Oh boy. Yeah, really nice start. Again, first blood solo kill. It happened earlier today as well, but the opposite side, YSKM. That top lane is just one heck of a spicy matchup. Whenever these two meet, at least YSKM's gotten a win up against his opponent, but Rest certainly knows how to give just as good as he gets.
Yeah, let's watch this again. So YSKM does have a level disadvantage. He takes a lot of damage and also loses the bone plating right off the bat. Rest knows that this is the go signal. Look at him holding onto the death charge to cut off the remainder range of the hook shot right here. And he knows YSKM doesn't have a flash remaining. Able to chase him down after a long lane. Really nicely done. And this is what we were saying. YSKM might be the solo kill king of the PCS, but Rest is still the top dog.
Yeah, and he has the experience to boot, knows exactly what he's doing in this matchup. And whoa, Gemini! He gets away with Grand Theft Red buff. That was close.
But in the meantime, we also do have the Herald being stolen here by Holo. Well, not stolen, taken away here.
Yeah. And it's a trade, you know, it's an extended trade, is what we can call it.
Absolutely. I think this should go into the top lane, but they most likely wanted to go top, but it's also very dangerous because the Death Realm is there, and Rest can just kind of spoil your own plans by getting another solo kill. So I think most likely they're going to use it as a Drake flank. That's probably the other option for them, and maybe find someone to start off a team fight when they do go for the next Hextech Drake. This one's going to be absolutely huge. Everyone contests the Hextech Drake. It's 9% CDR. It's also attack speed. Just an absolute insane bonker Drake.
Yeah, we just haven't seen that many of them tonight. It's been all oceans and clouds and some mountains. Like not nearly as many of the Hextechs, and it won't be the Soul, but that's okay. Rest, man, he's showing up big today. Certainly an impressive performance out of this veteran topside. CFO is the team. They just have so much veteran experience across the board, with the exception of Shun. The newest player had a really pop-off performance in his rookie split. Took the entire league by storm, and honestly, probably denied quite a lot of potential top bot lane's MVP candidates, as he really just showed up and delivered, and he's been doing it again here today in the laning phase up against the side of Eminem. Holo coming down to the bottom side looking for the lane gank, but Shun and Koala respecting this possibility by playing back.
Yeah, and I will say that CFO, the best thing they've been doing this game is just playing with implied pressure. A lot of times Mission just goes missing on the bottom side. Better gonna find a trade here. Fine.
It's a little bit of damage on the workaround, and I think he's going to not be able to follow through there, as Gemini was at his back as well. Mission going to be joining up, and I think we're in for a dive. YSKM got to watch his back. Here comes Gemini into the Weaver's Wall. I don't think he's going anywhere, as he actually tries to bait this out to the Hexcycle Domain and flashes away himself, and that is maybe the play that saves the day right now. Tender clears the wave away.
Really nicely done. I would say CFO still find a small win just because they get the extra flash out of YSKM, but YSKM with some nifty moves actually knocks everyone away with the Hextech Ultimatum and then flashes backwards. Really well played on his part to get out.
There's nobody here to react. Mission, ooh, he's going to have to walk it back slow, so this is going to be a lot of plates taken. Do one more if they get that one on the last Shelly hit. There we go. Nicely done by Frank.
Yeah, but what's going to happen either way with the Herald somewhere, but you know, getting out on the mid lane I think is definitely a lot better than getting it on bot. I didn't think that CFO were necessarily going to play too hard onto the bottom side. And, you know, now we have this situation where CFO, I think going into this Drake fight, actually has a pretty sizable lead. There is no flanking pressure from the Herald anymore. And we also have a TP from Rest here. So if he really wants to join, that's going to be a huge difference maker. If he manages to take away Holo, that's the smite and the main initiation coming from Frank Esports. So let's see how they want to play him.
Dragon advantage looking to stack that up. Gemini coming in through the choke. Shun, full control on that bot side. Wave push does mean they can set this one up. Holo carries Pretender. Don't want to give this away. But they know they won't have the numbers advantage no matter what. Rest can teleport in anytime he wants. He's actually going to start off the back and come into the mid lane. Still pretty early into this game, if you remember. And Koala gets stopped up for just a second, but they turn the damage on to carries instead. Way too much. Here comes Rest into the fight after the fact, and Holo, his clone gets deleted, but that just means the real one is left bare. Dragon resets, but there's no smite to contest.
Yeah, that was a bit of an awkward position. Frank didn't want to actually commit to this one. I think they were just playing for the steal. Let's see if the Ultra Shock Laser can find it.
Oh, so close. Oh, my word.
Oh, that has to be heartbreak there. So Frank weren't the ones that wanted to engage. They're just trying to hover around and hopefully find a steal somewhere on the Drake. But unfortunately for them, Karis gets caught out. Holo comes in, and then Rest just takes him away. As we talked about, Death Realm, take away the smite, make sure you secure the objective. Really cleanly played by CFO. A little bit of a mishap there from Frank. I really don't think they wanted to go as close as they did onto this objective. I think they were just trying to smite for a kill on the sides here. But Carries goes in a little bit early, gets found out. That prompts Holo for coming in. Well, look at this from the start. Like, Camille never was in position to join this fight, so I just feel like Frank overplayed their hand just a little bit.
Yeah, I think even if you want that trade, you kind of have to give it up, given everything. Like the teleport already being expended, YSKM can't get involved. And, well, the Mordekaiser is absolutely off to the races there, Clement. Already getting his mythic item completed, or excuse me, the Arc completed already. And that's a little scary. Trying not to die too fast. Speaking of dying, Shun caught up by Carries and Eminem, trying to get the outplay, and almost does it actually, but will finally fall. Buys a lot of time for the rest of CFO to arrive. Mission cut off here as Carries flashes forward, looking for that one. Eminem going to be caught and isolated around the backside. However, Carries is still there for the body block, not for much longer. They will get the one kill. Carries trying to walk away, gets shoved back into CFO, so they have the last lap.
Beautiful play coming in from Mission here. Uses the Weaver Wall. We thought that was Shun walking into danger. Actually was a bait. Turns out to be a 2-for-1 there. And also, if you look at the position of Pretender, he just got shoved in. There was a jungler right in front of them that took a lot of his HP off. So nothing Pretender could do. And CFO are just kind of punishing Frank for grasping at straws here, you know. I feel like Frank Esports, they didn't get enough out of their early game. They had very dominant top lane. They had very dominant mid lane, but they weren't able to chain those two solo lanes together. And CFO were able to weather kind of the early game storm. They were able to put a lot of pressure on bot lane just with the implied Weaver's Wall, not actually even using the Weaver's Wall necessarily. And now we find ourselves into a situation where I think Shun is, been fairly accelerated this game, and the Mordekaiser is a complete menace at this point.
Oh boy, well, they actually managed to catch Pretender, and he just can't get away. Shun has the final shot, sniped him in the end, and yeah, talk about acceleration. Meanwhile, though, you can see YSCam is fancying his chances on arrest here, but so much damage there. Into the Death Realm he goes, and even with that Rocket Belt and Hextech Ultimatum, YSCam, he's still able to dodge a lot of the damage, and even so, it's Gemini coming through, flashes, goes back in, denied by Gemini, so even when he thought he had a chance, the numbers were not in his favor.
Yeah, he falls down for the 2-for-1, and CFO now find themselves with a massive advantage here. Just a little bit unfortunate for Frank, not being able to utilize that early game. I did wanted to see a bit more skirmishes here. And CFO at this point, look at that Viego. The problem now for Frank is if they want to win a fight, they actually need to kill Gemini first, or the chances for him to get a reset are way too high.
And if they don't do that, and even if they manage to, I mean, then you got Defelios to deal with, then you got the Mordekaiser to deal with. So many weapons at this point. Let's take a look at this again. Because Pretender, he gets hooked at max range. Koala, what a huge dredge line, and then Pretender thinks he gets away, but the last auto, YSCam, he chooses this fight with a level disadvantage, goes for the tack sweep into that hook shot, and then Rest is like, all right, bring it. Bring it. Let's make this 1v1. Oh, just kidding. Psych, I brought friends.
It was actually really close for YSCam. YSCam nearly was able to win this one, but unfortunately for him, of course, Gemini was there to help. The timing on his engage, I think, was actually quite good. You got half the HP off of Rest right off the bat. Precision Protocol probably synced up for that one. Unfortunately, not able to make it work, and now CFO have the run of the map. They also have the Weaver's Wall, which means that with this amount of map control, it's very easy with this zone push. Frank going for a big engagement.
That's a setup. Oh, they might be able to do it here as Holo goes in. That's a really nice start. His vision is taken out of this one by Eminem, but Rest is buying a whole lot of time. The Death Realm zoning just about everybody away. YSCam is going to fall. Gemini gets that reset, turns into Camille himself, turns onto Eminem, and wowzers, it's Shun to the rescue. Huge execution, even with the perfect setup. Frank Esports just have absolutely nothing, and the Shelly charge comes in again. Pretender trying his best misdirect right now, but Gemini has eyes on top of him. He might just get away, but the rest of his team's already dead, man.
Oh, I have to say, Pretender, that was pretty nifty on his part. I like the fact that he was just standing there and pretending that he was actually the clone. Took the damage, waited for the cooldown resets, got out quite nicely. The rest of the fight, it was pretty well done by Frank. They got mission right off the bat. That's absolutely huge for them. But unfortunately, Rest is just too big. He was in the fight already. He got Holo. That's the main backline dive, and a lot of the engage potential down here. So we'll watch this again. Carries finds a great glacial augment with flying division right off the bat, but unfortunately for them, Rest just hops right on top of Holo. That means Shun is completely untouched this fight. And once again, we see YSCam just being targeted down into the back line. Koala saved all his love, all the crowd control, just for the Camille to come flying in. They take him down. YSCam doesn't get any damage. Some nifty moves by Pretender. Credit where credit is due. This was fun to watch. It doesn't really matter.
Good LeBlanc mechanics, but it's not enough to do much more. Just some fun magic tricks, and you can see the damage dealt in that last fight. YSCam just didn't have a chance to get involved. Rest is huge. The Viego's huge. It was, you were just talking about this, that they needed to be able to make the play happen first onto Gemini, and they didn't. It's YSCam now caught, no getting away for him as he issues an ultimatum, but all three members of CFO will just take it straight to him, and now without YSCam on the side lane as a threat, numbers advantage for CFO wherever they choose. They've held Frank to only 2 kills in the tower this game.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like Frank actually had the damage to do much anymore. Shun's been able to get away and even keep his flash on the previous spike, but here they go.
Yeah, looking for this one. That's going to be Holo trying to keep Shun locked up. He flashes, though, over into the Raptor Pit, and now they still are able to take carries out of the fight. Gemini picking up one. Will get shut down. That's big gold to Holo. What can they do with it?
Coming in to find the snipe. Oh, but he takes so much damage.
It's going to be a TP.
Though.
He's back. Right back to seeing the crime. The question is, do they actually want to interact with this one? Scam's looking to cut them off at the pass. Shouldn't Koala Mission getting shepherded in here, but Rest is going to join. This is just a 4v4. Those numbers don't look good for Frank. They're going to let him walk away.
Yeah, I don't think they can overchase on this one. Scam flies in, and the Death Realm's already there waiting for him. So Frank Esports are going to be content with getting vision over the Baron Pit here. And the big question, the name of the game right now for Frank Esports is you have to find a pick and you have to find a kill before Daddy Rest walks into the battlefield. That's kind of what they need to do. And to be fair, they've actually gotten very close attempts here onto Mission, onto Shun. If Shun didn't have his flash there, he was dead. So Frank, I think they've actually been executing quite well off of the deficit that they've had. It's just that the deficit's a little too large.
Yeah, I think this is rough. Frank, they need to win this one to stay alive here, otherwise they will be dropping into the lower bracket, and I think we all just about expected it, but CFO, they're just looking so strong this game, getting off to one of their signature starts, and Rest on this Mordekaiser is huge! He just yoinks in Holo with the Death's Grasp, looking for the obliteration here as he throws on that Death Realm. Nothing he can do about it, and they just lock up YSKM as well. Big Daddy Rest on the play. They move straight for the Baron.
Oh boy, I think Leaky is watching this game with, he must feel really intimidated because his pocket pick, his main, is now being contested by another player in Rest. When you can do something that Rest can't do and then you realize, well, he's still there, Eminem might be able to find some kills back there.
Oh, they took Gemini! That's going to be the Baron up for the grabs right now. Let's see if they can actually do this. Big shutdown onto Shun. They didn't actually have that one. The Baron goes the way of CFO's mission, finishes the job, but they lose Gemini and Shun in that extended engage.
I spoke too soon. I'm so sorry about that. CFO tried to make
that was
an attempt out of that one.
Mid-sentence caster curse.
Oh, was so close as well. Great target find on Pretender to attack out Gemini, like you said. Good Ultra Shock Laser to start things off. They wait for the right timing here, and watch this as Eminem goes and tags everyone. It's such a good start to the fight. We saw only 900 HP left on the objective, but oh, Koala just saves it so nicely here. Not Koala, sorry. It was actually Mission just saving it so nicely. And I think that was the Baron knockup, actually, that got everyone into midair, allowing for the Talia to clean up.
So, Frank managed to find a fight. However, Eminem loses his life, it looks like, almost immediately. No, he actually turned for a second there. Finally falls down to Mission, and the rest of CFO gonna move on the charge. Holo locked up for a second into the back. Mission gonna get jumped on by YSKM, but I think they're losing members a lot faster than that is going well for them. Mission goes down, but it just doesn't seem to matter because everybody else falls. Pretender's like, wait a minute, I've been here before. I don't like this.
Gemini even winning out the stun ward against a mid laner. This is how fed he is at this point, and there's only one member left. They're not going to let him base and try to clean up the base here. So the big question here is, do they have the minion waves to get a little bit more? It looks like the death times are not enough, so probably just one inhibitor.
Ooh, Gemini. Getting fancy there. All right, well, they're going to be able to take this dragon. It's going to be Ocean Soul. They can't really contest on the Frank side. They're just not in position coming off the cooldown. And while the base isn't broken, I wouldn't be surprised if their spirits are falling a little bit. Frank Esports are looking like they might be going out in 4.
Yeah, it's only 23 minutes into the game and a very early Drake going down here as well. If I'm CFO, I just never touch an Elder, and I think that will be game here. Someone has to manage the steal.
Watch your eyes on Pretender. Yeah, they get the Ultra Shock to go for it. Trying for the steal doesn't happen though. Holo, it's a nice attempt. You got to go for it at this point, but they can't quite make it happen. And now Pretender on the wrong side of that Weaver's wall, and Mission jumps onto him, grabs both. It's going to be Shun with the final hit. Now Eminem, YSKM, and Carrie's all running for the door.
Everyone trying to get away, but Gemini from the top lane flank as well. Can he find the stun? YSKM.
He gets shoved back and nowhere for him to go as he tries to delete Mission, pulls himself back, doesn't matter. Speaking of pulling back, Rest is pulling Eminem right into the Death Realm, I should say, and I think that's gonna be it. Karis is heading for the fountain. Heartbreaker, he flashes away, but it does not matter. Even with the death timers not being the highest at the moment, this is breaking into the base. It might just end right here.
Yeah, we still have 23 seconds on Eminem right here, and they're already barreling down onto the Nexus. CFO want to advance to get that rematch with PSG, to get some revenge for Spring Split. There's only these two towers waiting in their wake here. Frank Esports, I think they will hold on for now, as the CFO are just going to play a little bit safer here, get the double inhibitors, and walk out. But you know, they're already at a 14,000 gold advantage at this point.
Yeah, you don't want to throw it away by risking it on the last minute fight. It was very early. The death timers weren't long enough for them to safely push it. The minions were getting cut down, but now they've got supers in 2 lanes. They've got Ocean Soul. Yeah, you talked about not needing to really touch the Elder. I don't think the Elder's even going to come up before this one ends, because CFO are eyes on the prize to finish it. And what an incredible performance from this team. The Mordekaiser, the Aphelios, both have just been instrumental, but also, lest we forget, Gemini set this up early. He did everything his team needed to really get them rolling in this game.
I think what was really important was Koala just constantly moving between bottom lane and mid lane. I feel like they were able to neutralize all the aggression from Pretender in this matchup, which is favorable to the LeBlanc, and they were also able to shove in the bot lane in the meantime. Because if Koala goes mid and he shoves in Pretender, then suddenly the bot lane is under so much pressure. We saw CFO able to just bleed away those tower plays with implied Weaver as well, not even committing to the play, but just threatening it. And you know, finding advantages on both sides. And then, of course, you had the solo kill coming in from Rest, so they were able to charge through this early game with all 3 lanes ahead.
Oh, yeah, they were looking like they're going to try and close this one out pretty soon by making the last lane push. Setting it up, the supers lining up. Last hold for Frank Esports, if they can do it. They will manage to get a 2-member hit on that. Leon ultimate, but whoa, where did the Monkey King go? Holo disappears in the blink of an eye. Hey, Pretender can't believe it.
Very unexpected. They still had a tower to play for, so I thought they might have wanted to wait for the engage a little bit more, but no, they actually used both of their ultimates, and that's just rolling out the red carpet for CFO to move on in the bracket here. They're going to get all inhibitors, and this is the last stand.
27.5 minutes. Definitely a quicker game than it has been, and Frank Esports, they've certainly fought like hell. Oh no, locked behind the wall. YSKM tries for the play, denied by Shun going into stasis, and that's going to be one Nexus turret. YSKM's got nowhere left to go. And Shun with a dominating kill. They go flying in. Gemini with the greatest of ease. They will look to end this one. Rest just tanking up everybody's damage. Gemini takes Eminem out. The minions do the dirty work on the tower. And that's going to be the CTBC Flying Oyster flying high to a 3-1 victory over Frank Esports.
Domineering play coming in from CFO. This was the first one in the series that we saw someone be able to take it down on the red side here. And I honestly had a lot of early questions about this draft because it was so different from everything in the previous 3 games. We saw CFO constantly trying to play for a more late game style with the Victor, you know, with the Aphelios, but this time they really do switch it up. They go for early game pressure. They go for a mission onto the Talia, a champion where honestly he wasn't really well known on, and they're able to find massive success in both of Mission's attempts here. So I think they clean out a lot of questions we have for this team. You know, the ability to play tempo for CFO was a big question. We have that solved, and their form now with Koala on point is also solved. CFO looked like a very strong contender to get the revenge later on.
They're not an infallible team, certainly, but they are just so strong, just on point, connecting